This is Mexico. This is Mexico. I don't know. I think sometimes some of our commenters, some of our viewers have said that, you know, our videos have changed their perspective on Mexico, that they weren't aware that it was like this. Hey everyone, welcome back to Hourless Life. If you're new to our channel, welcome. We are an American family of 3 driving around the world on a 10 to 15 year journey. So if you're new, thank you for joining us. Also, I wanted to let you know that in today's video, which I think is going to be one of the coolest videos we've ever done, I am going to take you on a walking tour of Guanajuato in the historic district. And I'm going to show you some of the coolest things to see here and tell you a little bit about this amazing UNESCO World Heritage City. We have a new video every Thursday, so go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you want to be part of that adventure. We'd love to take you on this journey around the world with us. So we've had our YouTube channel since February, and we are now in December. And I'll tell you, we have learned that we have viewers from all over the world. And one of our favorite things to do is show our now 5-year-old son, Caspian, where all these people are watching from. So, as I'm walking over to this first place that I want to show you, please take a moment and drop us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, because one of the things that we like to do is tell Caspian where people are watching from and show him on a map. Since we're traveling all the way around the world, this is a very special thing for Caspian because he gets really excited about learning about different places around the world. And yes, they have a KFC. All right, here we go. We are going into Plaza San Fernando. There are plazas like this all over Guanajuato. And typically they each have their own fountain, which we're coming up on. And the plaza is named after the church that is located near the plaza. So in this case, this is Plaza San Fernando. And let's see if I can spot the steeple and show it to you as I'm walking around. I also have something incredibly cool that I want to show you back here in a little alleyway. All right, so here's the steeple for the church. I think I can see it from here. The church is actually right back there. It's that yellow and orange or red building, and the steeple for it is right up there. But yeah, this is Plaza San Fernando. Right over here is an alleyway. In Guanajuato, they call them callejones. And this alleyway leads to a cool little restaurant. This is one of Guanajuato's famous alleyways. As you can see, they're really, really narrow. And you see this cutout right here? There's a story behind it. So back in the day, there was a donkey that they needed to get through here carrying a barrel, and he wouldn't fit through this narrow alley. So they actually carved out this alley and curved it on this side so that the donkey could pass through here. Just kind of cool. These alleyways, like I said, are all over and they lead endlessly through the city. I'll turn the corner so you can see they just kind of keep going. This restaurant here is called Clave Azul, and I'm not really sure it's a restaurant. It's more kind of like a bar. Brittany calls it the Boys Club. It's a really cool place. What I like about it is that they don't have a menu, but they do serve food. And so what you do is you go in here and you order drinks, and they just bring you whatever food they have, which is very good, by the way. And you don't know how much it costs, you don't know how much you're gonna pay, but then you just eat the food, pay the bill, and go about your business. It's kind of the way they do things here. It's pretty amazing. All right, so I'm gonna tell you more about Guanajuato as I'm walking to our next destination. Guanajuato is the capital city of the state of Guanajuato. It sits at 7,000 feet of elevation and has a population of about 200,000 people. It was colonized by the Spanish in the 1540s, and it's shaped like a giant bowl, with the historic center where we are now at the bottom of the bowl, and the city rising up around it, all around the city. You can't see it because of these buildings, but if I were to turn around, behind all of these buildings, the city just rises up. So we're essentially at the bottom of a bowl. It was also the site of the first battle for Mexican independence, which took place here in September of 1810. Not too far from here is a granary called El Alhóndiga. And Alhóndiga is where that battle took place. There was a famous hero of the Mexican Revolution who basically put a stone tablet on his back and crawled his way with a torch and some tar to the front doors of this granary where the Spanish had been keeping all of their weapons and ammunition and supplies. The Mexican people couldn't access this place and they needed to take it. So he crawled his way through the stone tablet protecting him from gunfire. He got to the front doors, smeared the tar on it, lit it on fire. The doors burnt down. The Mexican revolutionaries were able to access it and they won the very first battle. We are coming up to Plaza La Paz. This area here was the wealthiest area of Guanajuato back in the day. And so many of these buildings that you see here weren't actually government offices or commercial businesses like they are today. They were actually mansions. As I mentioned, Guanajuato is a World Heritage UNESCO city. The average temperatures here are 97 high in the summer, 37 low in the winter. So you could live here all year round. There's not a lot of rain. There's a small rainy season, but really not much to speak of. A lot of cool features in this city. So there are tunnels underneath us, about 30 feet underground, that go throughout the entire city under the historic district. They were originally used for drainage because they didn't have much in the way of drainage here, but they eventually got that all figured out, and now they open those up and they actually use them for vehicles to traverse the city so they don't have to deal with the traffic that's here. Incredible city. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you one of our favorite places in the entire city called Jardin de la Unión, which has a garden, the main theater, another church called the Templo de San Diego. There's much more to show you. But first, I'm going to turn around and try and get into this church behind me here. As we're coming up to the church, you'll see that there's the big Guanajuato sign where people love to take photos. And there are lots of little shops. Remember, all of these buildings here used to be homes and houses. So I'll pan over there so you can see that. It's all used to be mansions. All right, coming up to the church. This area is called Plaza de Paz. Look how beautiful this is. Isn't that incredible? And when we get up to the church, I might forget to tell you, but take a look at the doors and the stonework, the architecture of this church. It's just really mind-blowing. See the bells up there. I think I might even be able to zoom in on the bells. Alright. Let's see if we can head in there. We're going to head up the steps, and just so you know, when I do get into the Basilica, I'm going to be quiet out of respect for the people who are here and for this magnificent building, but I'll pan up just so you can see this. It's called Basilica Colegiata de Nuestra Senora de Guanajuato. It's truly a remarkable building. All right, let's go ahead and head inside. Like I said, I wanted to be quiet while I was in there, but you guys, wow. That is just an incredibly magnificent church. It's right here in Plaza La Paz in Guanajuato. And now I'm gonna head to Jardin de la Unión, which, like I said, is probably the place where we spent most of our time, and it's kind of the center itself of the historic district. Before I do that, however, there is one little side jaunt that I want to show you. Guys, take a look at this alleyway or walkway. Now you might think this is isolated. It's not this beautiful all over Guanajuato. And in the historic center, you would be wrong. It is like this pretty much everywhere you go. Love the details, the brick, the hanging baskets and the trees, the little shops. Just a beautiful, beautiful place to explore. I'm gonna turn around and head to Jardin de la Union, and when I do, if you guys have any questions or comments and you wanna leave those down below, we do our best on Hourless Life to answer every single comment that comes in. So if you have a question, you just wanna tell us where you're watching from, if you wanna know something more, you got questions about driving around the world, you guys please ask us. Our community is really, really important to us, and we love sharing this journey with you. All right, so right around this corner, we are going to head to Jardin de la Union. Here we go. All right, coming up here on the right, you'll see the theater. I'll talk about that in just a second. As you can see, it's already getting much busier in this area. There's just a lot to see. Believe it or not, it's actually not as busy as it normally is. This area here, this street is called Sopena, and at night this place can get elbow to elbow with festivities and fireworks and live music and artists and pretty much everything you can imagine. And you would think that that would only happen every now and then, but that's not true. It literally happens every single night. 2 o'clock in the morning, any morning, you will hear music and people and festivities and fireworks. My alarm on Dauntless has been going off non-stop. I should almost put a screenshot of that up here. Anyway, we've made it to Jardin de la Union. I'm going to show you what that's like. I'm going to take you on a tour of the tunnels. I'm going to talk about this little church right here, not little, and I'm also going to talk about the theater, which is one of the most magnificent structures in Guanajuato. This is Jardin de la Union. It is a beautiful garden. It's made in a French style. There are all these really low-hanging trees. If you're tall, make sure you duck. There's a gazebo here where the kids like to play. Of course, like all plazas, there's a fountain, which I'll show you momentarily. And it's right over here. And this Jardin has restaurants that line it. All of these are restaurants that at night are fully packed with mariachi bands that play all along this area. Isn't this gorgeous, you guys? Look at this. This is Mexico. This is Mexico. I don't know. I think sometimes some of our commenters, some of our viewers have said that, you know, our videos have changed their perspective on Mexico, that they weren't aware that it was like this. Obviously, just like any other country, there are parts that aren't like this, but you can choose to come to places like this and enjoy it for all it's worth. It is just a phenomenal city. All right, let's go over to the Templo. I'll show you that. Then I will show you the tunnels, and then I'll end with Teatro Juarez and give a few closing remarks. Hopefully you've enjoyed this journey. So we just came from Jardin de la Union, that garden there, and we have come to Templo de San Diego. Now this temple, or this church, is very significant. This is actually one of the oldest churches in Guanajuato. It's from 1663. Remember, the Spanish conquered here in the 1540s. And what we see here in this building is actually only about a third of what remains of this church. It was actually 3 times bigger than this originally. And you can see that it's quite massive. It goes all the way back. In 1663, this church was in operation here in Guanajuato. Templo de San Diego. All right, let me take you down to the tunnels. I think that this is something that people don't often get to see, and we definitely couldn't live stream this because there is no internet connectivity 30 feet underground. This little stairway over here is what's going to take us down underneath the city of Guanajuato. I want to thank our Patreon supporter Sky Powers and his family for gifting our family this Osmo gimbal that I'm using. Hopefully it's a lot smoother than some other videos that I've been able to do on my iPhone. So with this gimbal, it kind of rotates along with me. Anyway, Thank you, Sky and family. These are the tunnels, you guys. Look at this. So all underneath Guanajuato is a massive, massive series of tunnels. They are used for people to access different parts of the city without having to get blocked up inside the city streets, which can be quite a challenge. All right, as I'm walking back, I'll tell you about the story when we first got here. When Brittany and I first drove into the city, we were relying on Google Maps. Caspian always says, never trust Google Maps. And in Guanajuato, that's true. Because of these tunnels, you'll be driving up on the surface streets, and Google will tell you to make a left turn, and there's no left because it's seeing a tunnel that's underneath. All right, let's head to Teatro Juarez. I will tell you a little bit about that. Oh, and I should share with you the statue too. I don't know, I guess I can zoom in on it. We'll see. Let's go see if we can see the statue. Remember that story I told you about a Pipila, the man who strapped a tablet onto his back for the first battle of the Mexican Revolution that took place here in Guanajuato? Well, they've erected a statue to him, and you can't really tell from here, but that is a colossal statue. You can see the details from where I'm standing with the naked eye, and that is up on San Miguel Hill. Like I said, it's a fascinating story. Just look up El Pipila if you want to learn more about what happened here. All right, let's zoom back out, head over to the theater. So this is Teatro Juarez, and on the sides of the building here, they have the words comedy up there, and on the other side of the building they have tragedy. The sun's at a really weird spot right now for me to get this, but see if I can back up into the shadow here so you can get a better view. But the muses are all on top of the theater. This theater opened in 1903. Sorry, I'm trying to get in the shade so you can get a good shot. This theater opened in 1903. Brittany and I have gone to multiple performances in there, and believe it or not, most of them have been free. And the ones that we have paid for have been about $6 or $7 each, 120 pesos, to go in, sit inside this magnificent theater and watch a performance. Again, you can see a little bit of that in our day in the life video of Guanajuato. You guys, we see things like this every single day, and we go to new places all the time. We're getting ready to leave Guanajuato here on January 1st and continue our trip through Mexico's interior. We'll be heading south. We're gonna go to a town called Morelia. We're gonna go see if we can catch some of the monarch butterfly migration. Then we're gonna head to a city called Valle del Bravo, which is an ancient city on a lake. Then we're gonna go to Cholula or Cuernavaca, somewhere around there. Also in Cholula is the largest pyramid in the world by volume, which we hope to check out. And then go into Puebla, where the famous Cinco de Mayo battle was fought, and where I have a lot of family, so I hope to visit some family there as well. Every Thursday we're gonna show you something new. So we hope you've enjoyed this. We hope you like, subscribe. If you want to go behind the scenes with us, you guys, we do have a Patreon. And our Patreon is really important to us because our community is the only consistent community that we have. And so we've really gotten to know our Patreon supporters. We talk there all the time. We answer every question, share a little bit of the more intimate detail, some of our struggles, some of the things that we're wrestling with on this journey. If you want to be part of that, literally for the price of less than the price of a Starbucks coffee, you could get in there and hang out with us more regularly. We would love to have you there. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next video.